Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's look, I did another client tutorial on my sister. Something really simple, there's no liner or false lashes. If you want to know how to get this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so to start it off, I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer and the color Light 10. I'm just using that as a primer just to kind of cancel out any red tones she has in her eyes. For the eyeshadow, I'm going to use the Tarte Swamp Queen palette that they made in collaboration with Graveyard Girl. I'm taking the white shade and I'm setting the concealer so that it's not tacky and the next transition color blends smoothly over it. For the actual transition color, I'm taking Natural Peaches and I'm blending that into her crease. This is a really light shade, so I had to go back and forth a couple times to build it up. A transition color is just there to make sure that everything blends smoothly and there's no harsh lines in any of the eyeshadow. They got it twisted. For the next shade, I'm using the color Dogman, which is a really pretty deep orange. I'm placing this a little bit lower in her crease, focusing it on the outer corners of her eyes and then dragging it through the actual crease itself. You want to make sure you place this color a little bit lower than the transition so that they both show through. Going back into that white shade we used in the beginning, I'm just going to use this to highlight her brow bone. Next, I'm going into the color Sippy Sippy with a small detail brush. I'm going to focus this on her outer V, and then I'm going to start to drag it down in place of eyeliner. This is just a lot softer and way more natural. You want to make sure to keep it really close to her lash line. Like I said, it's going to mimic eyeliner. This is just a lot more natural. Sometimes eyeliner can be kind of harsh, so I wanted to do something really soft and pretty. Here I just switched to a flat eyeliner brush and I picked up that same brown color, Sippy Sippy. I just packed it a little bit closer to her lash line to kind of darken it up a bit and keep it clean. I'm going back into that first white shade we used and I'm just kind of popping this on the center of her eyelid to clean things up just a little bit. For primer, since she has dry skin, I'm going to use the Benefit That Gal. I'm going to rub that in with my fingers to make sure it really warms into her skin. This is her trying to be cute. For foundation, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way in the color Ivory. It looks crazy pale. We were both kind of freaking out when we saw it on camera. I think one of the reasons it looks that way is because her eyes were already done and I used such warm tones. So it kind of made her look like a vampire, but everything evens out once I add the bronzer. For concealer, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the color Light 10. I'm putting that under her eyes, bridge of her nose, center of her forehead, and I'm blending that out with a damp beauty blender. To set her concealer, I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder. I'm not baking, I'm just kind of pressing the powder on with the beauty blender and then immediately brushing it off. She was really dry that day, so I didn't even set the rest of her face. She didn't really need it. To bronze and contour her face, I'm using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer and the color Milk Chocolate. And all the brushes that I'm using will be listed down below in the description box. I'm just running this along her cheekbones, her jawline, and dragging it up her forehead. Every day a nigga try to end me, pull off in that roadster SV, pockets overweight and hefty, coming for the king, that's a far cry, I come alive in the part-time, the competition, I don't really listen. For blush, I took MAC Melba and lightly dusted that across her cheeks. Next, I took the RCMA No Color Powder on a damp beauty blender and placed that underneath her bronzer. This is a really good trick if you feel like you kind of brought it a little bit too low. You just let it sit for a while and it really cleans it up. For highlight, I took the Makeup Revolution highlighting and blush palette. I placed that on the highest points of her cheeks, down the center of her nose, and on her cupid's bow. Here I'm just taking a big fluffy brush and dusting away any of that excess powder. You can see the difference it makes, it just looks a lot cleaner. And I'm taking the Anastasia Pro Brow Palette and the color Soft Brown on her number 8 brush. I'm filling in her eyebrows according to her natural shape and I'm kind of leaving them almost a little bit messy. Since this is a more natural look, I didn't want to have any harsh lines. Going back into that eyeshadow palette, I'm taking the color Natural Peaches and placing this on her lower lash line. A nice trick to have a client do when you're doing their lower lash line is to have them look up. That way they don't see the brush coming towards them and they don't flinch or blink. For mascara, I'm taking the Jordana Best Lash Extreme. Normally on a client I would use a disposable wand just for hygiene purposes, but she's my sister, so I'll just use mine on her. I'm making sure I coat her lashes really well since we're not doing any falsies. And then for the lower lash line, I just kind of followed the same method. I had her look up towards the ceiling. That way she didn't see the brush coming towards her and she didn't flinch or blink. Just makes it a lot easier.
This is #1 champion sound, yeah, Estelle, we about to get down. Who the hottest in the world right now, just touched down in
For lips, I took ColourPop's liquid lipstick in the color Midi. With this eye look, you can really choose any color you want. This day she was going to the movies and she wanted this color in particular, but you could honestly do like a red, you can do a brown, you can do a nude. It really doesn't matter since it's such a neutral eye. Lastly, to set her face and give her some hydration, I took the Bodescu Rose Water. I sprayed a lot since she was dry. And that's the end of the look. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.